we're going to teach you how to affix the antlers to a mount. I'm using the Reinhardt Manikin. It's really nice. It's got really a lot of detail. In the face, the neck, it's really detailed. The musculature looks really good. And I'm going to show you how to use this particular Manikin to get these antlers real nice, and it looks really natural. It's a really good Manikin, and you'll see once I get into it. This is a Manikin with the brain ridge. So what that is that's just this little a little lump that simulates the brain, and then the cavity where the brain sits. It just helps you to get the antlers positioned correctly, because you don't have to. There's that brain ridge, and it fits. I don't know how they did it so good, but it fits perfectly into the brain cavity on this deer. So we're going to get to it, and I'll show you how we get this thing on there. So I've done a little bit of prep work, and you can see the marks that I put on there. There's a mark here, a mark here, and a mark here. And what that does is, if we measure from this antler to the corner, we get 14 and a quarter. And if we measure from this antler to the corner, we get 14 and 3/4. And I just measured to the corners of the nose. So that's basically how I marked it to get the antlers. And if you step at a distance, you can kind of see it looks pretty realistic the way that rack is sitting right now. So there's some more prep work that needs to go into here. And what we're going to do, because we need to drill 3 holes. Now we need to drill a couple holes in the Manikin to get it ready. I mean in the skull, because you're going to put 3 drywall screws in here to affix this to get it where it sits down. Now, when we take this guy off, you can see the brain ridge here on the Manikin, and this makes it really easy to place the antlers on there because it just fits right in here. That's your brain, cavity, and here is the brain, what they call the brain ridge on the Manikin, and then you just screw into here. There's a wood plate. So that's what I did. I placed it where I liked it. I got the antlers set where I liked them, and that's about where they were with my marks. And you can just double check. You can go back, and look at it, and if you don't like something on there, you can always make an adjustment. It looks really pretty natural, I think, right there, and I think we're going to leave it there. So now we're going to go get the drywall screws, and it's important that you drill pilot holes in here, because if you crack the skull, if you drill right in there with drywall screws, you'll crack the skull. You do not want to do that. If you crack the skull, I would think you could probably still make it work, but I would think it looks pretty natural from the back. It looks pretty natural from the side. But yeah, I would think if you crack the skull, it's, that skull plate, it's going to make it really bad to get this sucker back on there. I'm sure you could do it. I'm sure you could. Yeah, that looks really good. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to get our drywall screws to go into the Manikin. We're going to get a drill bit, and then I'll show you how we're going to mark this and put a couple marks here. We're going to drill some pilot holes and get these antlers attached. We're going to mark 3 points on here that we're going to put on. We're going to put the screws in. And I think we'll do 3 points. It looks like those are 3 good points. So now, I've already got my 3 drywall screws here. Again, you're going to put these in here and they're going to go into the Manikin, but you can't just drill through the skull plate. You need to drill pilot holes. So what we're going to do is
That's my skin that's getting ready to be tanned. I'm going to be tanning that later. So basically, we're going to take this guy and we're just going to drill through the 3 places. So we're going to drill through here. It's actually surprisingly hard. Okay, there's one hole. There's 2 holes. This will be our 3rd hole. That's pretty thin. Okay, so now what you can do is put the drywall screws in here. Yep, and that's perfect. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get this back on here and line everything up back where we had it. We're going to line it all up with our marks, and we'll take another measurement just to be sure that this guy is on. We'll look at it again, looks good. Looks like it could be tilted a little bit to the, yeah, exactly, just like that. So we need to make sure that this guy is tilted sort of like that. And then you just got to make sure that when you drill it, you're ready to drill. That looks perfect. Now from the side, it looks good. From the other side, I'm going to say that still looks good. It looks real good. Okay, so now, this part could probably, I would think, be a little bit tricky because you really need to make sure these antlers are where you want them. And then you just and then they're in. Now they're in. Now you can really adjust them. You can see, now that looks really good. I'm saying that looks really good. Now we can remeasure before we actually put the final screws in. Take one more measurement. And that's 14 1/8. That's pretty much perfect. And we've got 14 3/4. I put the markings right on the Manikin. It looks really good. So now let's put the other screws in here. I just brace the back of the Manikin, and then that way, and we just, every time you screw it in, just take a look at it. So it, you know, you can tell if it looks good. Now this looks pretty good. We'll get our last screw in, and then we'll take one more measurement. And then that's basically it. I mean, we're ready for, right here, we're ready. I think it turned on that. So I'm going to check it just to make sure. It looks pretty good. Over here, from the side, it looks really good. Looks really natural. And let's take a look from this side. I think it looks really good. Yeah, because he's kind of tilting his head that way too. So it really looks good. Now let's take one more measurement, just so we like where it's at. And that's it. It's ready for the mache to, there's 14 1/8. This one looks like it moved a little. Let's see if it did. No. It did maybe a little bit, but I think we're good to go. That's all there is to it. And she's attached, and I think she looks really good. Now, next video, I'm going to build up the head here and around here. We're going to fill in this head, make it all real nice with mache. I'm going to do this in steps so it's not real big videos, but that's all there is to it. Using the Reinhardt Brain Ridge Manikin. So stay tuned, and I'll be doing the mache, I think maybe later tonight. I'm also going to start the tanning process on the skin over there. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and like the video if it, gives you some tips. We got the antlers attached. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put paper mache in here. I've got my mache mixed up already, and we're basically just going to work this in and recreate the head of the deer. And that's going to be, so what we'd want to do is just make it look like the head of the deer, and we want to smoothen all these transitions. You want to leave a little space in the antler burr right there, so that the skin has room to set. And in this, you just want to make a nice smooth transition from the back of the head and then down there, and then you just want to make that nice and smooth and make it look like the head of the animal. It doesn't take a whole lot. As you can see, it's already looking pretty good. It's already built up. We just want to build that to a nice smooth transition, so that when we, and I didn't need half of the, I mixed up probably too much mache. Didn't need a whole lot, but I mixed up a whole bunch, because this is my first time doing this, so I probably mixed up a little bit more than I actually needed. Well, maybe a lot more, but that's okay. And you see, we'll just make this transition right here. Make it nice and smooth. Pack it down in there. And this is just going to help us create a nice, smooth transition and make the head of the animal come to life. You just work it in wherever it needs to go. You could use a little more in there, a little more there. And as you get going, you just want to kind of keep adding mache. You can already see the head of the deer coming to life already. And we just want to build this up. Yeah, there we go. We want to keep building it up so we get a nice smooth transition here. The ear. Onto the head here. It's actually looking pretty good. And you can just wipe that off with your finger. It's perfect. And see how you can't even really tell there's a joint there. It's just nice and even. Same thing over here. We need a little bit more in there to build that area up. We need to push that up a little bit in there. Looking pretty good actually already. I think this area needs, I gotta get some in there. Well, I didn't need really a lot of this, but okay, so now I'm going to wipe my hands off. I'm going to build that area up a little bit more too, just because I think it needs it. I'm going to try and smooth this out with a little trowel and just smooth this stuff out. Oh yeah, that looks really good there. This I'm going to kind of work in there. I'm going to take all that off anyway, but I want to try and smooth all that out. I want that transition to be nice and smooth, like just like that. Nice and smooth. And you could sand this off, I would imagine. You know, if you had too much, you could probably sand a little bit of it off. So you know we have room. You can see in there. This is all really nice, and then we have room for the antler burr right in there. So we want room for that skin to go around. Let's see how this side came out. This side's looking pretty good too. Looking pretty good. Just want to make a nice, even. Don't worry if you get any on the eye. If you get any on the eye, you can go back later and you can smooth it out. And you can actually, this mache comes off really easy. So you can just, and then you see we got a nice smooth transition. Smooth this out just a little bit. Well, they're looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. And that's all there really is to the mache. And that's pretty much done. Now you can see we've built up, we've filled in the mannequin around the eyes here. And you can see how it transitions really nice. And that head really kind of follows the contours. And then that'll set up. Yeah, this actually came out really nice on this side. I think this side came out nice too. I think we did a fairly good job keeping the contours of the head intact. And now, you know, when we put that skin on, it can go, and then there's room under the antler burr here. And that's all you really want to do. You just want to build it up so that when that deer skin goes on there, it's going to look like the head of the deer. I mean, it came out pretty good. And that's all there is to it. I'll probably put this on the video with the attaching the antlers, just to Because that video doesn't have to be so long. That looks really good. Well, we'll see. Okay, so I've got paper mache on my deer in the head here, and I think we've done a good job of transitioning it onto the head. And I think that's it. I think we're done. There you have it. Now your antlers are attached and they're ready for the skin. That looks pretty darn good. Okay, well, thanks for watching. Staying tuned. I am not going to do the tanning process on this deer. I'll probably do that in a later video, and I'll get the Manikin ready to accept the cape in another video. So stay tuned for that, and thanks for watching.